Was it to win tonight, heading into a 5-game road trip?
Yeah, it's like I said earlier. I think every game's obviously every game when you is equally important in this league, and you have to be ready to play in each and every night, and you have to give it your best chance, and you have to do all those little things to give yourself a chance to win. We did that, and our guys really executed and shared the ball late in the game, and made enough plays to win. I don't really look at it as, the next chunk of the schedule. I just look at it as this, now we go to Phoenix and play a game, and we'll cross those other bridges when we get to them.
Coach, obviously they didn't have Kyle, but can you talk about the defense that you guys played? It seemed like it was just...
Yeah, I think Patterson's a big part of their team too. But I thought our defense was pretty good, and we were really locked in after the first probably, 7 or 8 minutes. I think they had 15. Maybe for 6 minutes they had 15, and from that point on, I thought we were really good. We were matched up a lot better. We defended the ball a lot better. We held our ground. They're a hard team to rebound against, and we rebounded as a team. So, it was encouraging.
Brad, piggybacking off of that, just 33 points in the second half, and you guys obviously got into the penalty early in the fourth quarter as well. How are you guys able to overcome that and stay aggressive down the stretch and still limit them?
You mean they were in the penalty? Yeah. So, I don't want us to not be aggressive. I think you have to be aggressive without fouling. There's a fine line there. But, that's where technique and work and all that other stuff comes into play. We've been a little bit better as of late with that. And I thought our guys did a great job of paying a great deal of attention to Ross and DeRozan in those closing 5 to 6 minutes especially. Some of the shots that I thought that they hit in the first half were unbelievable. The shot that Ross hit in the corner where he's running off the screen was an incredible shot. And so I felt like we were defending them probably better than the score would have indicated. And, we just have to give those guys as much attention as possible. But probably the most encouraging thing is the way that we, played down the stretch and executed and made plays and made the next play. And, that was good.
Coach, in the third quarter, that's when you guys really started to put some separation between you and them. What was the key to that, other than obviously Evan made a number of shots for you? But beyond that, what else?
Well, I think Evan was a big part of that, obviously. But it got back down to one a couple times. So still a lot of game left after that. But I thought that we were better defensively in all those runs that we made. And then we had, this is going to sound like rocket science, but the ball hits the net. It's hard to beat that. And we made shots. Evan made some tough shots. Those pull-ups are not easy, but those are what he does. And when he gets in a rhythm like that, you want to give him the ball.
And when you mentioned earlier about your defense, it seemed you guys had a wall that was really solid whenever DeRozan was attacking the rim. Talk a little bit about just your team's collective defense, particularly limiting him at getting to the rim too much.
Well, it's tough. He's a good player. He's a really good player. But, we've played him now a couple of times in the last few days. We've played him a bunch over the last few years. Avery has done about as good of a job as you can do on him for the most part. But then the guys that guarded him late, Marcus Smart and Evan, did a great job so that we could keep Avery on Ross some. So he's a hard guy to guard. He's a hard guy to keep from getting to the foul line. You just do it as best as you can. Like I said, show your hands and try not to initiate contact. It's easier said than done.
Brad, you guys had 80 field goal attempts tonight, which is the second lowest you've had in a game this season. Is it good to see that the team can win and execute well in a lower pace game, especially ahead of the playoffs where things tend to slow down?
You got to be able to win a number of different ways. And, I think that execution is critical. We've gotten much better as the year's gone on. But, it's still something that you have to do every day. That's like, it's kind of like saying you're really tough. Like, you're not tough if you don't play tough. You're not good executing if you don't execute well. So it's just something we have to continue to build on and do every single time we take the court.
Brett, I know for you every game is a game, but psychologically in there, did you sense it was important for them to overcome Toronto, given kind of the way you had guys that lost to them during the season?
I think you always want to Like you said, you're focused on the next opponent. You're trying to play your best against the next opponent, but certainly a team that's beaten you 3 times, there's a part of you that, surly competitive side of you that wants to play better, and our guys have some of that.
Brad, obviously, as you just said, you're focused on the next game, but this clinches a winning season. Any significance from where you came 3 years ago to this point to clinch a winning season?
The one thing that I will say is I've felt like, especially in the last year, 14 months, whatever it is, that I feel like there's real progress, and it's been pretty consistent progress. We're certainly going to have our bad games, and we're certainly going to have games that are unique throughout an 82-game season, but there's been good progress. There's been good growth in our team, and that's my biggest focus. But it's like I told Abby, like, hey, you don't sign up to come to the Boston Celtics to win 42 games. So we got a long way to go.
Brad, the team missed their first 5 shots in the fourth quarter before you took a timeout and put Isaiah back in. Is there a reason why the second unit continues to struggle on the offensive end?
Well, I think first and foremost, I thought we got decent looks with that group, and sometimes that group has really risen us and lifted us. I thought they did some really good things in the first half, but for whatever reason, it wasn't working at that time, and so that's why we went back with the majority of our starters.